Today, a topic of discussion is on digital products and online frauds, a journey from vulnerable to impenetrable. While we were selecting this topic of discussions, we had several other trending topics to be considered. Like AI was there, then we had Chat GPT, CBDC, inflation, embedded finance, and few more. We were told that a topic like online fraud is not that fashionable. Why don't you select a topic which is attracting a lot of media attention, or a topic which is chasing a lot of VCP money? However, we had a very different view on this. What we saw is that today, most of our activities are being done online. And what are we thinking while doing the online products or a digital platform? We are escaping unwanted messages. We are avoiding unwanted calls. We are worried about misuse of our online entity. Uh, every time we log in into a bank's website, we are worried whether it's a correct website or not. If we go to the ATM and try to withdraw the cash, we are worried whether our card will get cloned if there is some equipment which is being fitted there, which can just take away all the credentials. If we get a friend request, we are worried whether it is a honey trap. And when we get any delivery of any courier which is coming in and he asks for a OTP, we are worried whether it is a request money kind of OTP. And there are several other concerns which keep coming to us every day. So undoubtedly, the topic of discussion today, that a journey from vulnerable to impenetrable for digital products and online fraud, is a right topic. And we have today a very powerful panel. The people who have built industries, who have given several policy level guidelines to the entire BFSI industry, and their views would be very, very valuable to us. In fact, I would say that this topic should be discussed in each and every forum globally, to make the digital transactions safe. Now, today, the questions that we are going to ask are the questions that were discussed in the FIAX community. So, Mr. Sambamurthy, do you think the fraud worth $1 billion and a fraud worth less than $100 can be managed by same set of regulatory authorities? Now, does the one size fit all approach is right here? 1 billion fraud will require a different kind of analysis, whereas 50 rupees frauds will require a different analysis. Now, do you see a need for a regulatory umbrella entity, and not NUE, a regulatory umbrella entity, to manage these small value frauds? What is your recommendation on that?
Let me go back to our maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I think Mr. Rao also would, maybe he's a little younger to me, so he may not go back to 35 years. The biggest frauds those days in an analog world and paper world, the check forgery and demand draft forgery.
Correct.
And it used to take 4 or 5 months today to find out, to establish. Just to establish. Then it will go through the legal process and all that to reimburse and all. I've seen that world, now I see this world, digital world. Today it's much faster as compared to, I'm telling you. Today we are talking in terms of days. Those days we were talking in terms of months. I think that is what the digital world has transformed. I think we should not forget the progress that has achieved.
Correct.
Now, number two, to add to earlier question, Mr. Rao, that is answered, let me add one more. In our paper world, we had that to resolve the disputes, we had Negotiable Instruments Act. So clearly there is what is the responsibility of collecting bank, what is the responsibility of a paying bank. Today you need to replace it. What is the responsibility of issuer, be it UPI, be it the card, be it anything else, and what is the responsibility of the acquirer. So these things need to be codified. Today, because that act is codified, there was never a dispute who has to pay. It was very clear, right? And number three, see, these are all old tricks played on new channels. These are all old tricks played on new channels. For instance, when we were operating NFS before we transferred to NPCI, The biggest problem is, a lot of complaints saying that account debited, I've not got the money, right? And used to go, if it is supposing a third party offers transaction, there is always a dispute between the issuer bank and the acquirer bank, right? So then immediately RBI said, you don't resolve it within, I think, 7 days, you have to pay a penalty for every day, right? And the number of complaints got resolved. I think we need to come with these regulatory actions and all. So I don't want any class division here. I don't mean anything. For me to say that what is small, what is medium, what is large is again issues. Today, I think we should credit the lower end of the people who have adopted it much more easily, much more faster, micropayments. So in the whole process, we should not give a signal that, okay, small amount, we don't care for you. On the other hand, I think there should be kind of, nil liability for customers up to certain value. You just see the transactions, history you have, right? Every GPay, it goes there, UPI goes there and all, right? So I think I would, instead of doing it, I would prefer the issue to be tackled because it's not about the value. We need to understand, as you said earlier, we need to understand the cost-based analysis we have to do. We need to do RCA. Let it be 1 million, let it be 10,000. Today, you neglect 10,000, that guy will do 1 million, right? I think to RCA, I'm not for dividing it. I'm, in fact, to ask me, I vote in favor of these micro payment guys, micro receiving guys. I think we should not send a signal. It will send a wrong signal. On the other hand, the big guy is a professional guy. He needs to be more careful, right? And he's in a position to be more careful. And has he compromised his credentials? So I don't, supposing say that a large value fellow, parting with OTP, parting with the password, not changing the passwords which these people say, right? I think normally, even in capital markets, if you see, they expect a high degree of diligence from a big guy, right, as compared to a small guy. Even if we make professional investments and all that, I think that signal should never go that, okay, you slice dice into, say, 10 rupees transaction and 1 million transactions. So this is important, this is not important. Everything is important. Today, because we want a cashless society, where the cash is happening, forget about some 2-3 sectors where the large value still goes on cash, even that is also coming down. It is here we have the cash problem, we have solved on the ground, at the floor, right? We need to strengthen. I would even go for nil liability for those customers up to certain value. I would strongly say that if this is not resolved in 4 days, 5 days, there should be very clear guideline, either issuer pay or the acquirer pay. Otherwise, we have run this banking for 100 years. Because these things, don't think these are new disputes in digital world. I'm sure Mr. Rao would agree. We have faced all that in analog world, in the paper world. Right?
So,
more so when you say financial inclusion, right? When you say financial, we want everybody to have an account at all. So everything is a priority. Everything is a priority, need to be dealt with. So one is when you say the fintech or digital world staple food is speed. So let us not put barriers to speed because we have some accidents and all that. On the other hand, today the car has got a brake, that's why you go faster, right? So let the banks take responsibility. Banks need to take responsibility. I would even go and say every bank in its own area should conduct at least one digital awareness program, digital literacy and financial literacy, at least once in a quarter. All banks, all branches have to do it. Today you have close to almost 1 lakh of branches, right? And then best forum is we have got the SLBC, State Level Bankers Committee, and DCC. Let this be one of the agenda. I think you should push them to all the banks. IBA, right to all these banks. They've got State Level Bankers Committee, where the Chief Secretary sits, Rural Secretary sits, Finance Secretary sits, even Chief Minister sits. So let them come out with these statistics, how many frauds have taken place, how much time they've taken to resolve these issues. So let us strengthen the system, use the existing forums instead of creating one more. Today, even NPCI, even the NUE, you know that how the rule making takes place. They don't do on their own, right? There are bankers groups. And today, NPCI board, there is a representative from All India Depositors Association also. So Reserve Bank insisted there should be a representative from depositors. It cannot be just a banker's club. So they also need to take it up, right? That's where I think probably you need to engage with these already the All India Depositors Association, SLBCs of the bank. They should go down to district level meetings. See, these are all structures already available. Whole idea is for us to create awareness, create a sense of urgency. Don't take it easy because these vulnerable people don't come and can't shout at you. So you don't take leisurely and tell our regulator, let that within 1 week is not there, that he has to be paid first up to a limit. Unless you have some evidence saying that he's a party to it. Okay?